This episode of Playing on a Budget is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 source of games and gaming accessories, and by GatheringMagic.com, the #1 source of Magic the Gathering news and articles. Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com, here with another episode of Playing on a Budget. While we're on the Goblin themes, I thought I would go ahead and do a modern Goblins deck, as I just did a standard Goblins deck, but this is a modern Goblins with a twist. There are plenty of Goblins decks running around, most of them are pretty budget. I think that this deck, since I'm using dual lands, is going to be a little more expensive than a mono red list, so you're definitely welcome just to run a mono red list. You use a lot more one-drops than this particular deck list I have here, but I thought I'd give it a little bit of a rogue feel to it, as I'm using cards like Jund Hackblade and Spike Jester, as we are a black-red Goblins list. But before we go over the complete list, let's just go over the prices that are brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com. Check them out right here, so if you need to buy this deck, definitely go check them out. They're a great sponsor of this web series. Let's go over to the website here, and you'll see that this deck runs about 129, I think it'll be around 140 because they're out of stock of Shared Animosities. So, and then there's a few commons you have to throw in there, so 150 bucks around there. And our budget goal is $200 for Modern. Modern is a lot more expensive than Standard because of cards like the Fetch Lands and Goyfs and Dark Confidants and whatnot. So this is a very, very budget deck. This costs a whopping less than a Goyf, so very, very budget friendly. Once again, your Blackcleave Cliffs, there's 4 of them in the deck. They'll run at around 20 bucks. And the Blood Crypts, there's 4. They run around $9, so you're looking at 35. So again, those costs can be completely cut if you go into the mono red list. But the reason I like black is you get cards like Rain of Gore, and you also get the card that I'm testing out, which is Spike Jester, that helps out the Jund Hackblade a lot. So here are just a little bit of the prices. I mean, everything's pretty budget here. Goblin Chieftains are $2.50. Goblin Grenades are 65 cents. Goblin Guides about $9 a piece. Lightning Bolts $1.25. The Rain of Gore is about $2.50 to $3. Sulfurous Springs $1.25, and Vexing Shushers are about $4.50. So let's go over the tech of this deck, why it makes it a little bit different than the regular Goblin decks. I'm running cards again that have great synergy with Jund Hackblade. So you have Burning-Tree Emissary that you can go turn 2 Burning-Tree Emissary into Jund Hackblade. If you have a turn 1 Foundry Street Denizen, you're going to be hitting for 3 with the Foundry Street Denizen that turn, and then actually an extra, you'll be hitting for 6 turn 2. And also, Burning-Tree Emissary works very well with Mogg War Marshall. Same thing if it's Foundry Street Denizen into Burning-Tree Emissary into Mogg War Marshall. That is hitting for 4 here, and you have a bunch of creatures on board to hopefully next turn either Goblin Chieftan or Goblin Bushwacker. A huge swing. And then, of course, you have Goblin Guides. It's probably your most efficient one-drop in the game for red. And then Tattermunge Maniac. The reason why I chose Tattermunge Maniac is it helps out the Jund Hackblade. And it also works quite well with Burning-Tree Emissary if you have to go turn 2 Burning-Tree Emissary into, like, oh, you've got a green and a red, so you bolt off one of their creatures, and then you have the green to actually use for Tattermunge Maniac. So that's the whole synergy here. Maybe I'm only running 3 Goblin Chieftains. I have a very short land count of 20. I was thinking of actually going 19. We'll see how this works. I am only 2 lightning bolts. I've got 2 more in the sideboard. Mix and match the Goblin Grenades lightning bolts. I think 6 is fine for direct damage. I want to go extremely heavy creature. And again, you could go in more like lightning bolts and take out. I don't know what you'd take out though, because Foundry Street Denizen's, like, in my opinion, the weakest card. Maybe Spike Jester is a weaker card. We'll have to see which one, but I mean, 3-1 Haster for 2 is not bad at all. The only problem is it doesn't have synergy with the Burning-Tree Emissary, but it does have great synergy with Jund Hackblade and Goblin Chieftan and Goblin Grenade and whatnot. So I think it is a good include. I want to try this card out. Ever since this was spoiled, I wanted to find a home for it, so here is my attempt. So again, black is in here for the Rain of Gore, which is so powerful in Modern. There's cards like Obstinate Baloth, Kitchen Finks. There is Wormcoil. No, it does not stop Wormcoil Engine because Lifelink is an ability. It's weird how Lifelink works. Someone correct me here. I've had a bit of a discussion. One time I swung in with a 1/1 in one of my videos. I'll have to find it on my Soul Sister videos when someone had a Rain of Gore out, and my 1/1 Lifelinker was still getting me life. It was not losing me life. So anyway, if a judge can tell me exactly why on this, that'd be awesome. I've had it explained once, but with my forgetful mind, I've forgotten why. So anyway, but this works great against Huntmaster seen in Modern. It shuts down that lifelink part of it. Again, Obstinate Baloth. And their Soul Sisters right there completely shuts down Soul Sisters until they can find an answer for it. So I think it is worth including in the sideboard. We have Mark of Mutiny in the sideboard. Probably 100% this card is for Wormcoil Engine. You can turn 1, turn 2, swing, hopefully get them down to enough to where they drop a Wormcoil Engine on turn 3, you Mark of Mutiny, hit them for 7, and then whatever else you have left. And that's your answer against the RG-Tron deck. And there's plenty of other decks like Baneslayer, Angel decks. You see them every once in a while. If nothing else, you can always grab like a Vendilion Click or something, hit them for 4. I mean, Mark of Mutiny is not a bad card. I mean, a Goyf, you can take a 5/6 Goyf, turn it into a 6/7 Goyf, hit them with it. They don't have a blocker. I like Mark of Mutiny. I think it's a very versatile card. I think it's great in Modern. Very underrated card. I'm trying these Vexing Shushers because, again, they do have great synergy with Burning-Tree Emissary, and they also cannot be countered. And then you can make your following turn your Goblin Chieftan, or I guess fourth turn you can make sure an uncounterable Goblin Chieftan or uncountable Goblin Bushwacker on turn 3. There's a lot of counterspell decks coming up, tons actually, like Blue-Tron, and their red-blue Delver is becoming big again. UWR. There's plenty of counterspell, remand counterspell, or even hard counterspell decks that Vexing Shusher probably is worthwhile to put in your sideboard. Then right now Affinity is everywhere on MTGO. That's why I'm including 4 Smash to Smithereens. It's also not bad against Tron. It's also not bad against a number of other decks that do utilize like Vial decks or even Pod decks that utilize some artifacts. And then I'm including 2 Shared Animosities, as this is a pretty good card. You can bring this in if I want to go more consistent, bring some other cards out, bring Shared Animosity out, and man, your Goblins can just go crazy with Shared Animosity. There's a few other cards you could try. It's Goblin Raid, of course. Let's type these in. Goblin Raid's a cool sideboard card. You have Goblin King, which is another Lord. Maybe it's not Goblin Raid. What is it called? It's Goblin. It's an enchantment. Let's find this here. And search this up. It's like Goblin. Let's see. Goblin Assault is what it's called. Goblin Assault. Every upkeep you put a 1/1 red Goblin token with haste onto the battlefield. So against any sort of huge control decks, if you drop this, at least you're getting a Goblin per turn. And gets you a little bit of card advantage. Yeah, I think that's... We'll look over some cards in the wrap-up after I finish this series up of what we could use, what we might want to use instead. You can go more direct damage with like Incinerate or Pillar of Flames. I've seen a lot of people using Pillar of Flames for Kitchen Finks. You can definitely put Pillar of Flames in the sideboard as well. Anyway, I hope this deck does well. Wish me luck. I'll be doing a Modern daily, or we'll do some Modern 2-man queues to get some games in here. This is Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.